Good afternoon to each and everyone. My name is Vanessa Itunas, a third reporter of Chapter 7, Learners and Other Marginalized Groups. Okay, so let's start. Letter C, Abuse Children. The World Health Organization, or WHO, defines child maltreatment as the abuse and neglect that occurs to children under 18 years of age. According to them, the child maltreatment is identified globally as a valid social, public health, and human rights issue. So this is the big problem nowadays. These are types of child abuse. First is physical and or emotional ill treatment. Second, sexual abuse, which is very sad because one of person that abuses them is only their family or loved ones. Next, neglect or and negligence. These are the children which receive proper care or love from their family. Next, commercial or other exploitation. Example of those these are sexual cybercrime. They expose the underage into different sexual outcomes. And last one is exposure to intimate partner violence. One of the violence that the WHO defines as one of the child abuse is where both parents and fighting, especially in physical violence in front of their children, which is not right. So this is the results or potential effects to the children because of the child abuse. First, child health. It may affect their health because of what they experiencing. Second is survival. As a children who are experiencing child abuse, they might feel and first in their development like they have to survive by their own. And next is the development of trust issues or being powerless of their own. Child maltreatment or child abuse is a serious matter that has direct, extensive, and lifetime effects on children. It may lead to physical harm or impairments, negatively affect cognitive functioning and socio-emotional adjustments, weaken the nervous and immune systems, and lead to death. Next, letter D. Refugees or displaced children. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees or UNHCR defines refugees as someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of persecution, war, or violence. So, the refugees are the people or person who has been forced to leave or run away to their country in order to escape war, violence, persecution, or any disaster. A refugee has a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, membership in a particular social group. Most likely, they cannot return home or are afraid to do so. War and ethnic, tribal, and religious violence are leading causes of refugees fleeing their countries. So the war and ethnic, tribal, and religious violence are the leading causes why those refugees or the people fleeing to their country. Now I will discuss what is internally displaced person or IDP. These individuals seek safety anywhere they can find it, and nearby towns, schools, settlements, internal camps, even forests and fields. Internally displaced person or IDP. An internally displaced person or IDP is someone who has been forced to flee their home but never crossed or international border. According to the most recent statistics from the UN, there are 21.3 million refugees and 51% are below 18 years of age. This is the highest record so far since World War II. The refugees and the internally displaced children have something in common. They are not If they're in their homes they are not secure, there is also a big possibility that they could be or are separated from their family, friends, and community. They are lonely and feel they are treated unfairly. They are in a situation that does not allow them to enjoy freedom of movement and also freedom to go to school. They are often mixed with people from different cultures and beliefs. They live in tents or absolute housing facilities that are and by vines or fences. They are in distress, scared and uncertain about what is going to happen to them, for how long and what their future is going to be like. Concerns over what will become of these children should be enough to make us take a serious look at how we can make education work for them. The present situation of these children is complicated and there are no answers to this problem yet. However, other questions are arising. Who or what will they be in the future? Until will they grow up to be good citizens of their country, or will they be the next group of terrorists who will be a burden in a threat to the world? Now I will discuss to you the Declaration of Human Rights. Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention of Child Rights. The Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention of Child Rights emphasize that education is the right of every person, every child. This means that education policies are in place. 2030 United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development. The 2030 United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development considers education as essential to the advancement of humankind. This clearly stated that UN Sustainable Development Goal number 1 4, which calls for ensuring inclusive and quality education for all and promoting lifelong learning. 2030 United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development. Its specific objectives include ensuring that all girls and boys have access to quality early childhood development, care, and primary education so that they are ready for primary education, eliminating gender disparities in education and ensuring equal access to all levels of education and vocational training for the vulnerable, including persons with disabilities. UNSDG 2015. Despite all this in the resettlement areas or places, these children are confined to food and shelter are given priority over education. Aside from the lack of resources, these are other complications that are hindrances to the quality of education given to these children. First, countries that host them are unable to protect refugee rights to education simply because they themselves have a extended system of education. Second, because of the length of time refugees and displaced children are in resettlements and refugee areas, educational resources given to them do not allow for quality education shifts to accommodate children, oftentimes over time of the teachers and shorten learning time. Third, language and the lack of materials is also a concern. Fourth, the children who have been exposed to war and violence demonstrates some psychosocial problems that are addressed. Letter A. Children in conflict zones refers to war or political instability that disrupts essential services such as housing, transportation, communication, sanitation, water, and health care, which requires the response of people outside of the community affected. Next, countries belong in conflict zones and what are the experience of conflict to children in their countries. It is said that children in countries that are at war are being used as human shells, killed, maimed, or recruited to fight. Rape, force, forced marriage, and abduction have become standard tactics and conflicts from Syria to Yemen and from the Democratic Republic of the Congo to Nigeria, South Sudan, and Myanmar, or UNICEF press release 2018. The children have rights accorded to them by law, by the Convention on Child Rights, but it is the utter disrespect and disregard for these rights that is brought about by the unresponsiveness of governments, and even at times connivance with the perpetrators that is causing the children harm. It is also sad to note that other countries are not helpful in solving this problem. The UN has identified 6 categories of human rights violations against children, known as the violations. These violations include the killing and maiming of children, the abduction of children, the recruitment or use of children as soldiers, sexual violence against children, attacks against schools or hospitals, and the denial of humanitarian access. The first 4 are direct acts of violence against children, and the last 2 are indirect actions that cause harm to children and directly relate to health care and health workers. The commission of any these violence constitutes a breach of international humanitarian law. Despite the laws, the number of children caught in conflict zones is still increasing and many are being deliberately targeted. Their wars are being fought in this present day demonstrates a total disregard for children and schools. Children are constantly getting killed in our homes thus their parents, family have very poor health and mental states are under toxic stress. This causes both physical and psychological trauma that will have enduring effects. So that's all po. Thank you for listening.